Hey everyone, it's Luke McEvely with Bring Home Denver, your local real estate experts. I'm here today with my good friend Rob Whittet, an industry peer of the Brokerage Group, aka The Big. Rob, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, buddy.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here to talk about the insurance marketplace and frankly, what's new, what's different. It's been a big topic of conversation in real estate over the last couple of years. Rob, talk to us about the current state of the union.
Sure. The last couple of years for, let's say specifically home insurance or personal lines insurance has been hit extremely hard in Colorado. So we're talking about just the Front Range alone. We've almost seen what we call like a market reset in our industry where rates for pretty much everybody have gone up significantly. And now where we thought before we buy a house and get insured for a much lower price, easy to get coverage on it, we're finding it a lot more difficulty to like get that. Depending on the area, can make it very challenging right now to even get insurance. You're buying a property, say for example like in the foothills here, finding some extremely challenges there. So there's really just a lot of disruption still in the marketplace. I feel like I'm hoping we've kind of hit the head and like peaked out, and maybe carriers are starting to relax just a little bit. They were really kind of tightening their screws down on people and just like what they would take. But I feel like there's a little give coming a little bit back.
Oh, good.
So
I think that's welcome.
Hopefully that's a sign of relief heading into 2026.
Good. I think that's fairly positive for most people, right?
Yeah, we sure hope.
Yeah.
I know, it's tough on the consumer, it's tough on
Certainly.
agents and brokers trying to just help their clients do the right thing.
Yeah, this is affecting everyone.
For sure.
Right. So talk to us about the brokerage model and specifically how the big is different than working with a specific carrier.
Yeah, so I've actually experienced both. So my former life, I was a farmer's insurance agent for about 10 years. And then my business partner and I opened up the Brokerage Insurance Group, the Big, in 2019. So the difference is an independent model. What I tell people is like, we represent you, the client, not the carrier. So what you do is I meet with you, Luke, and understand your situation. I then go shop my carriers and markets. A lot of times we might reach out to 10, 15 different carriers and say, hey, here's Luke's portfolio. Is this something that you guys want to take on and look at? And so to us, it feels like it's a better fit. We can go out and represent you to many different options and come back to you and say, this is what we feel best fits you. It could be both for coverage, could be for price, could be for claims experience, all the things we can kind of look at. If I work specifically like I did at Farmers, I was limited and could only offer Farmers products. Okay, so when I'm there, while they offer good products, it's very kind of in the box. So you have to fit in the box to make it work, and not always does that box, do you fit in the box? So to me and to like everyone here at the Big, we feel like, hey, we provide you a lot better experience because we can kind of take a look at the whole picture.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is it's absolutely more about the customer than the policy.
100%.
Yep,
It's
right.
all about the customer, and I think another thing sometimes people don't know too, being a broker doesn't mean that you pay more for that either.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty common question.
Yeah, a cool thing like with us is we're paid by the carrier. So if I place business with you with one of our carriers, that carrier pays us a commission for bringing them business.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's no cost to you to utilize us. We don't charge anything for our services. It's just like we bring business to carriers and then they compensate us for bringing them business.
Gotcha. The industry has certainly changed from what a lot of us remember it by, right?
For sure. Or even like if you work with like a financial planner or a broker there, like sometimes they charge fees up front and all these things. It's a little bit different on the insurance side.
Okay. Well, let's talk policies for a moment.
Yeah.
What's on your short list as far as what people should really be paying attention to in their policy?
Yeah, specifically, with just like personal lines insurance right now, homeowners insurance, I think you need to just be aware of kind of like what's in your policy. So deductible, we've seen a lot of deductible changes specifically to like wind and hail, where some carriers are requiring, they might put like a percentage next to it. So you might have a home, say it's worth $1 million, and they call that dwelling, like that's what they think it costs to rebuild it. You might just see like a 1% next to it for a deductible or 2%. Doesn't seem like much. When you do the math, that could be a $20,000 deductible to you on like a wind and hail claim. Okay, so always pay attention to like what your deductibles are. We're seeing a lot of carriers change that right now, and so it's important just to kind of be aware of that.
Okay.
Another one I would say with that too is there's a thing called how your roof's paid out. So homeowner policies typically in Colorado, most of them are going to be a replacement type policy, but a lot of carriers recently have really gone to like what they call either still offer replacement coverage on it, or you might see like a roof payment schedule or an actual cash value policy on the roof. That to me with a client is something you want to be extremely careful of, because there's a lot of carriers that's all they're offering right now is like a roof payment schedule. And what that means is if they give like a calculation. So again, back to that roof example I gave earlier, they would, if you file a claim, they would give you say, hey, it's $40,000 to replace your roof. However, your roof's 15 years old. Based on this roof schedule that we have, we're gonna pay out, 70% of that $40,000 for you to get your roof replaced.
Okay.
So a lot of people are seeing their rates go up. What we've seen is getting less coverage or less protection.
Interesting. And I feel like with roofs, I mean, that's a very common item in a policy and a claim. Talk me through the like self-insurance model that has been floating around that a lot of people are talking about, like because their deductible is so high or the cost of replacement is a stretch.
Right. Or they don't have the coverage, right? So yeah, it's a tough play. I think a lot of people are seeing that they got high deductibles or they got like that roof schedule. And so they're really having taken on a lot more risk with it. So the biggest thing I can tell people there is like, be aware of what you have and what you're buying. It's always good. I mean, you'll probably talk in other discussions of having like an emergency fund set away.
Of course.
I think we need to kind of start looking at that with insurance too. It's just like, hey, this is a fund here in the event something bad happens. If we don't have the protection. Because what's happening now is a lot of carriers are going away from those $1,000 deductibles that we used to have.
We don't see those anymore.
You might see that now, but you have an actual cash value policy, or a roof schedule. So they're few and far between, but your deductible is more than that because you have $1,000, and you're gonna have to make up that difference on that roof schedule.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's helpful to know. As far as, let's talk about the claim process and when versus when not to submit a claim.
Yeah, great question. So that's always like a tough situation because like something happens. Like, why are you calling your insurance agent, right? Premiums go up, or you got something happen to you, right? Something bad happened, or something happened to the house. So what we try to say in a non-emergency situation, okay, this is what I'm saying. Like you get in an accident or something like pipe broke and like it's this water everywhere type of thing. This is like a non-emergency situation. Use it's best practice to reach out to your agent or broker in our case, and just kind of say, hey, here's what's going on. We got hail last night. It hailed pretty hard. I'm not really sure how bad it is, but I see like leaves on the ground. My flowers are destroyed. What should I do? And then what we like to do a lot of times, if it's not like I said, emergency situation, is send out one of our trusted referral partners, roofers, and they'll come out and look at it for free, do a free inspection. They're very well aware of like what insurance companies are looking for is in terms of damage to make it a insurable claim, and they'll inspect it for you and then give us back a report, and we can kind of figure out what to do from there.
Okay, great. So it sounds like rather than rush to submit a claim, which might be a bit outdated, if you will, make the call, get some information before you click here to submit a claim. Right,
100%. I mean, it's common to feel like, hey, it hailed, we have damage, but actually roofs can hold up fairly well. It's always good to have like another set of eyes on it. Like, we try to work with trusted partners that say, hey, they know what the carriers are looking for, and there's certain guidelines for it to fit, for an insurance claim to pay out. So it's just important that we can kind of get that professional out there and just give you their opinion, like, hey, yep, this is something we want to talk about. And then in addition, how we were talking earlier about, hey, if it's a roof payment schedule, or maybe they got high deductible, what are we looking at? How much am I on the hook for if this happens? Does it even make sense? Because in some instances, a roofer might be like, well, I can repair it. I can do these couple things, be good to go, let's move on.
Yeah, good point. All right, so you got your policy, you're happy, you're in your home, maybe you have a new carrier, the year goes by quickly, not much happened. Talk us through the renewal process, time frame, and general expectations around that.
Yeah, that's another one that I think a lot of people don't really know what to expect. And I think as a brokerage, we've always been trying to figure out, like, how do we make this a better experience?
Yes, good point.
So our our take here at the Brokerage Insurance Group is try to be proactive with it. So we here, our process is we'll communicate to the client about 60 days out. Just let them know, like, hey, stuff's coming, be on the lookout. Most carriers will send something out about 30 to 45 days out, specifically like on home insurance. And so at that time, we'll send some more follow-ups and try to schedule a review with the client to see if they want to review what has changed in the prior year. Okay. The reality is the carriers almost look at insurance now as like a year-to-year basis. So each year it's up for like a renewal. So while you're building up time with that carrier, but they're just kind of looking at that year as a new standpoint. And we were talking earlier about, well, sometimes I get like a letter in the mail. Scott got a letter about inspections, and the carrier might come out down the road after you've had it for a few years and do an inspection again. So it's just kind of paying more attention to what you have.
Okay.
The other thing I would say too is sometimes carriers make changes to your policy that you're not really aware of. So back to that $1,000 deductible type of thing. We've seen carriers that have changed deductibles at renewal. And so that's why it's important to have a good relationship with your broker to kind of understand like what's going on if you're looking at this thing, this big document, and not sure what it means.
I mean, I think there's an emphasis on review your documents, talk about it, right?
100%.
And understand, like, hey, I need to be paying attention to this stuff,
100%.
right? Especially at renewal time. And I can speak from experience working with Rob and his team. They did a fantastic job this past year on the renewal of one of our policies and helped us eliminate a policy and save money. So that was a good experience. Well, speaking of the thing that Scott had brought up to us, talk us through like the site inspections, why or when they occur, and what to expect from those.
Yeah, so on residential insurance, usually if you submit a policy like for a new home, like a purchase, or you switch carriers, most carriers have some kind of inspection process. So you place insurance on the home. In theory, the insurance carrier has 60 days to make sure it's a risk they want. So how do they figure that out? Well, from the information the agent might provide them to also like an inspection. And that inspection could be as simple as an app over the phone, or where we still have a lot of old school where they do go out and actually do a site visit. Okay, and they'll go out, take photos, take a look at everything, and make sure the home's in good enough shape that they feel it's up to their standards to insure it.
Okay.
Now, what we're seeing more of is carriers are now re-inspecting properties after a period of time. And I think they're doing this, it's just they've kind of gone on cruise control for a long time. They've just kind of done their own paperwork, done their own increases or changes, but now they're like, well, hey, we've had this property for a long time, is it still in good shape? And so they're sending out letters to people. We're having those go out to our clients right now too, like, hey, we're gonna come out, you don't need to be home, but they're gonna take photos, and again, they're just trying to make sure it still fits their standards.
Okay, it's kind of like what you said earlier in this conversation about it's an industry reset in a way, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I feel like we've had almost like a market reset where the floor for the cost of insurance is just raised. So it's kind of one of those things. I feel like insurance a lot of times works in the rear to real estate.
Yeah.
So we see the real estate. We've all had great equity build up in our homes, and see those do well the last few years. Insurance is sometimes slow to the game to kind of catch up with that. But when it hits, and you're like, oh man, that's a big surprise.
Yeah, right. That's an understatement. Well, thanks again for sitting down and addressing this very important and very discussed topic right now. I appreciate it. I can speak from personal experience of working with Rob and the Big. They're wonderful. Please feel free to reach out to them at the contact information below, and they'll take great care of you.
Thanks, Luke. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you some more about our great world of insurance.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.